Hey everybody, it's Matt from Casually Crafted 3D again, and today we're going to do another third-party Transformers review. So this time we have Newage H21B DR.NO or their Soundblaster. Uh, this guy I did get secondhand again, but I did get it with the box this time. So I can't really do a true unboxing of this guy because he wasn't in a sealed package, but I do actually have the box that he came into. So I'll move him to the back and we'll actually take a look at the box. Like G1-esque, like G1 toy-esque box with like the art and stuff. I love it. Around the side, there we go. Communications, DR.NO. Around the back, and a nice action shot. Side, same art. Yep. Very nice. But yeah, so let's set that to the side and we'll take a look at him. Obviously, this thing is fully painted. Very, very nice. Nothing new there for Newage. I did notice that some parts here, like here, are like it's glossy on the one side and then it's kind of flat on the other side. So I noticed that it's like that on like a few different areas, like the thighs and like the arms especially. But there he is from the back. And obviously it looks a little incomplete here on the back, like something should fill that out. But other than that, he looks pretty good. There's some sticker residue on here from the previous person that owned it, so that's no fault of the figure. And then let's take a look at some of his accessories. So he's going to come with a whole bunch of different hands that are on a little sprue, but they're removed here. Here we have the open hands, open splayed hands, which are kind of nice. A little waffle in the middle though. So we've got one for either side. And then we also have a pointing finger, pointing hand, kind of like go cassettes go, which is kind of nice. And then we have his signature ejection finger where he's pushing his button up here. And any of these hands can swap out pretty easily just by popping out the little ball joint here and then replacing the other hands by popping them in. And then obviously there you go, there's his little eject finger. He's also going to come with two of these, his little battery guns. Nice painted on the front here, the little circle parts. And there we go. They're the exact same. He gets two of them. And then you're going to get this little, this little nozzle part to make his little guns. And to do that, you just kind of pull that forwards, pull this section out here, and then this will just go into that hole in the front to make his little handheld gun. And he can hold that in his hand just fine. And then the other gun here goes right into that little peg hole right there, and it goes in like so. So there he is. And obviously you're going to get 3 cassettes with this figure. You're going to get Rumble or Frenzy. To me, this guy's Frenzy. I'm a part of the Black and Red Frenzy Club. But from the front, I mean, it doesn't really look like a cassette to me. The only thing that's making it look like a cassette is maybe the little spool rolls there. But obviously, he's just a collapsed cassette bot. But you get him, you get Ratbat, which is probably why a lot of people want this set, is just because of Ratbat. But same thing, kind of looks like a cassette. Here it is from all the other sides. And then you get Buzzsaw, which they didn't even try with this one. But it is what it is. And obviously he can store these in his chest just fine. Here, we'll put Buzzsaw in there. and close them up. And there you go. Here, real quick, we'll do a transformation for these guys. And I also completely forgot. He does, specifically him, he does come with these little extra parts here. These little kind of ground pounders, or I forget what they were actually called. But they do extend here on that little slider. So for him, we're going to just simply pop these little arms off of these pegs, move those forwards, and then the legs will come down like this, extend on that little hinge right here, bring them down on that hinge, and then the feet just kind of come down like that. And then the head will just lift up and rotate. And then these little fins here on the back for the little back guns will flip out. And then this whole thing here will just slide up on that little slider. And there we go. There is a little frenzy or rumble, whatever you call them. I'll do his articulation real quick too. Obviously his head's on a little ball joint. We got little ball joints here on the shoulders and ball joints there on the elbows. Ball joints here on the hips. Got a little pin joint there on the leg for 90 degrees. Pin here at the ankle. Can only go forwards for transformation, not very far back. And there is actually a little recessed ball joint here in the foot, so it can wiggle a little bit and circle around, obviously. But that's really it for these guys. No waist articulation or anything like that. But I mean, these things are tiny, tiny little rumble frenzy, whoever. I'm gonna start fights in the comments and stuff about who this actually is. But as far as these little pile drivers here, in order to have him use them, you just need to lift the arms up, put the arms kind of like this and like that, and then there's this little hole on the insides of these that peg into the hole on the back of the forearm. And they just kind of go like that. Like that. And there he has his little pile drivers like he used in the show. Alright, and then let's take a look at Buzzsaw here. So to transform him, we're just going to kind of take these little parts here and flip them out like that. And then we're going to take this whole section here, flip that out, spread these, and then just kind of rotate this whole thing up like that. And there he is. There's the little Buzzsaw. He's got like no articulation really at all. Just the head here or on the neck can move on this little swivel, and he's got a little ball jointed head. That's about it. The cool thing about him though is he has these. These are little metal pieces here because on Soundblaster he has little magnets on his forearm, so you can actually hold like the arm out, and then these magnets just clip right in, and then you can hold them. That's really cool. Something that I kind of wish that the Magic Square version had, where you could just kind of have them very securely hold the birds. It's pretty sweet. And then here we have Ratbat. To transform him, we're just going to kind of lift the head up here, spread these little gold pieces out, take down these little thrusters, and then rotate them in at this hinge here. It's a little tight. At that hinge there. And then here, we're going to kind of lift these out, and as you lift them out, it's going to push that part down, and then rotate the little feet inwards, open the little wings, and bring the head down. And there he is. There's a little rat bat. Not too bad. He doesn't really have any articulation either. Just the little wings can go up and down, I guess, and that. It's basically just all transformation stuff. So there are his cassettes. So as far as the head here, it's a ball joint. It's attached kind of far back on the head. So we can actually get side to side, bends back way far for transformation. Not really at all forwards, and it can rotate 360 degrees. There's also a joint in here that's more for transformation, but it allows you to kind of rock his head back if you want to do like the flying poses or whatever with him. You can totally do that. Shoulders are ball joints, so up about that far, in a little bit, 360 degrees. There is a little mushroom peg here for the upper arm, so you can rotate 360 degrees. There is a little pin here for the elbow, so you can get about that far in, and there is another pin down here so you can get the double joint, so almost 180 degrees. The wrist is a ball joint, of course, as I showed earlier, so you can move that however you want it to. He does have an ab crunch, which is right here on that pin, so he can move it about that far forwards, which is insane, more than you actually need, but it is there. So he does have a waist swivel, 180 degrees. As far as the legs here, they can move. If you move this front panel out of the way, you can move really far forwards. You're a little limited, well, not really that limited back, but you can almost get about 90 degrees back with the ball joint here on the hips. Really far out, obviously. And then we have a mushroom peg down here on the upper thigh, so you can get 360 degrees there. The knees are single jointed right here, so you can only get about that far, but you know, that's good enough. Down here at the foot, nothing going on with the toes or the heels or anything like that, but you do have an ankle tilt, so that's pretty nice. So let's take a look at some size comparisons. So first off, I'll show him next to Newage's Starscream. I think it looks pretty good. Here we have his rival. This is Newage's Blaster, which is a little small, I think. My personal opinion, I think he should be about the same size as him, maybe. Here we have, how about, move Starscream out of the way. Here is, he fell over, of course, Iron Factory's Soundwave. And how about Magic Square's Ultra Magnus, or White Convoy. So yeah, I think it looks okay. And here, just because I was talking about Magic Square's version, here he is next to Magic Square's Soundblaster. So, all right, and let's take a look at transformation. So obviously you're going to remove the guns and stuff, and you're going to make sure that he has his holding hands or his fists. So to start, we're going to open up this back panel here, which looks like it fell open already anyways. And then we're going to take his head and just move it back like this, and then close the panel up over it. And then the little back panel here is going to be attached with this little thing here, and this can be kind of tough to get out, but just press down on this, and I might actually have to get a spudger. There you go. Just unclip it from here. It's kind of difficult because it kind of clips over this other plastic part of the waist. So move this whole section up here, and then this is actually going to split here like that to make that part. And then you're going to kind of lift the arms out of the way. We're going to keep that down, but lift that so it is like this, and then you're going to only rotate the waist. Oh, I'm sorry, actually you do need to lift that up. And then you're going to only rotate this part of the waist, or if it's easier, I'll just do it like that. So basically swapping the front and back panels here. And then for the arms, we're going to come around to the back here. We're going to lift up the hands in this position and then collapse the forearms on that little slider there so that they are up like, oops, so they're up like this. And then you're just going to we're going to put this kind of like that. And then on these hinges here, these two hinges, you're going to pull them out of that little slot, and then with these two hinges move them back like this, and then that peg will go into that hole. I know because it's a black figure it's hard to see, but there is a hole right here, and then they're going to kind of just fit in like that. And same thing here, move this, and it helps to kind of try to get that little hinge underneath this black piece to where you can put them together, and they should just kind of collapse like this into that little box there. And then for the legs, we're going to kind of lift them up out of the way like this, and then this is where it gets to be a little tricky here. So these little black panels here, you're going to need to move these down like this, like that. And then there's a hinge right here where you take this entire section and flip them out like this. And then that hinge right here, you're going to push this and it'll bring this panel in like that. And then, let me think here. And then this whole section on this other hinge here is a dual hinge where it's going to rotate this all the way back around like that. So it should look like this now. And then this whole section on this hinge right here is going to flip in like that, like origami. A lot of different things have to happen. So this part will rotate on this dual hinge right here, and this part will rotate on the dual hinge here to kind of make it look like this. That's what it should look like when you're done. So same thing over here, rotate this hinge, and then swivel that in, rotate again here, rotate in there, and then move the toe and the heel in like this. And then up here, this little section here is actually attached by a real tight little peg here. So you kind of have to like torque it to pop it out like this. I'll show it again, like that. And it just pops right out of that little hole there. And just kind of bring these out like this for now. And then you're going to take your thumb or something here, make sure that's all the way forward because it's going to release this little peg here, and then you're going to kind of pull that out and it'll fill in this piece right there. And then you're just going to rotate the legs like this. And then now you can collapse this back in. Now that part's out of the way, and it'll come up like this. And then it should fill out this part, and then that little peg and that little peg, or sorry, not that peg, just this peg will peg in right here. Like that. Have a nice click. So collapse that, bring this in, and pop, just like that. And then this part will come down and fill all of that in. And then you'll take his two little guns here, or the little batteries, and then they will plug into these little holes right here. Right like that. And there he is. Yeah, I think it looks really, really nice. It's, you know, it's fully painted from the front. I mean, it looks really, really good with like the different paint apps and stuff that they put on it. Got a right and left here, a little button here, the play button, and fast forward and everything looks really good. From the top, looks pretty good. Side looks nice and complete, and from the back, I mean, that's really good. I mean, it looks like pretty complete. I mean, maybe from the bottom you can still see the robot mode thighs and the little ball joints there, but otherwise, I mean, it looks really nice and complete. So yeah, pretty good little tape deck. So something else I kind of wanted to show off in the same video is when I bought this secondhand, somebody did actually, the person I bought it from actually did include this. It's the Go Better upgrade part for this guy. It looks like it's like a 3D printed, painted thing. It's just kind of a couple of pieces. But what this does is it actually fills out the back here. And moves his back weapon a little bit farther, and I think this is like necessary for this. It looks really good with this. So you just kind of take this piece and it sits kind of up in here, and you just kind of push it up, and it's gonna fill in this thing on the back, and it definitely, like, holy cow, it makes it look so much better on the back, I think. And then it adds this little hinge here. Where you can, instead of putting the little back gun here, you put it back here in this little hole, and now you can kind of angle it forwards or angle it out of the way. And I really, really think that massively improves his general look. So if you do end up getting one of these guys, definitely look into getting that piece. I believe I think it's called Go Better. I ended up looking it up on eBay, and that's how I found out what that was. So yeah, just wanted to show that off. All right, so that's it with Newage H21B DR.NO, their Soundblaster and the tapes that he specifically comes with. And of course, if you made it this far into the video, I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching. But yeah, so final thoughts. I like it. This is more of a personal gripe. It's definitely not like an objective thing. It's more subjective than anything. But I prefer the proportions of Magic Square's version of this character. Specifically because he's a little bit larger, a little bit broader in the shoulders, a little bit more of like a heroic thing that Magic Square tends to do over Newage. But as far as like cartoon accuracy, this guy looks great. He looks incredible. So I can see how some people would prefer him over the other, especially because Newage's versions of Soundwave and Soundblaster are definitely more, a little bit easier to come by. So I can see it. Now, as far as the paint is incredible on this guy. He's almost entirely painted. The cassettes are almost entirely painted. There is some bare plastic there, but the paint is really, really good. The incomplete section there on the back is definitely my biggest gripe here, but obviously with that extra part that I showed off, you can totally fix that. Like I said, this is the Go Better part. I found that on eBay. I think that's where you can get these. But that definitely fixes a lot of the problems that I see with him. Articulation is good. The transformation is actually pretty fun too. There's a couple of little tight pieces, and the legs are very like origami-ish, how they kind of transform back and forth. But it's very cool, very smart how they did that. But yeah, I think it's a solid recommend for me if you can actually get them. And I don't actually have the original one of this one, the H21, which was the Soundwave. I don't have that one, but so I can't really compare them to that. But yeah, it's a pretty solid figure. So of course, if you like these kinds of videos, please like and subscribe, comment, check out some of my older videos, or anything that any of my other Transformers reviews that I've put out. And yeah, so keep an eye out for new uploads. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.